All right, guys, welcome back. We are here with Jango and Bladexa once again. Hello, guys. Welcome.
G'day, team.
G'day, indeed. We're back.
So we wanted to do a bit of a information video for you guys, and Jango and Bladexa have a lot to talk about in terms of information for not only the players but the teams and also the community, so you guys know what's going on. We're going to get a lot of stuff out to you guys in terms of the information as well. So, but we're just here tonight to tell you all about that. So, I guess Bladexa, kick things off, man.
Yeah, so guys, the tiebreaker has been resolved. For those who caught it, you know the results already, but we'll just tell you guys now just so everyone's on the same page. Job Seekers was eliminated from that playoff bracket. Unfortunately, they end up coming 5th in the season. Big props to them for making this far, but your playoffs teams will be Jewpies Angels at 1st seed, Destiny at 2nd seed, Youngbloods at 3rd seed. Big props to Bill for securing that one, and Corona Spaceship sneaking in on that 4th seed there. So yeah, those are going to be your top 4 teams, guys, and Bill has the dates for me lined up for the semi-finals and the grand finals.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all happening this week, the semi-finals. We are having 1st versus 4th, which will be Jewpies Angels versus Corona Spaceship on the 16th. We're going to be doing that. That's this Thursday. It's going to be our regular time slot. We'll probably start at around 6 o'clock, and it'll be a best of 3 for that one.
Yep.
And then we will have 2nd versus 3rd, which will be Destiny versus Youngbloods on Saturday, which will be in our same time slot again, which is 3 till, we'll play 3 games from 3 o'clock.
Yeah, the best of 3 can go to 3 games, could go to 2. That remains to be seen on the day. Make sure you guys are tuning in. So yeah, those are the times and dates locked in, guys. We are basically in the end game now for the season, so make sure you guys are catching this playoffs. But just want to talk a little bit about the teams too. So
Yep.
I guess we'll just chuck it over to the 4th seed and Corona Spaceship. Do you have any thoughts on this team in general, Bill?
I absolutely have some thoughts on these guys. These guys have been my favorite team this year. They kind of came out of nowhere. I know a few of them have played in like seasons before, but like these guys have just been incredible this year. They had a rocky start. They're still trying to like find their place and find their grooves, but towards the end of the season, they were just like steamrolling some teams and were just having absolutely like dominant performances. They've been so great to watch, and glad they have come in the 4th seed.
Can I just ask? Those guys were pretty much a put together team at the last minute. Is that correct?
Yeah, Lachlan basically wasn't really sure if he was going to commit to this because he's already competing in basically every other game.
Yeah.
He's in the Rocket League, he's in the fighting games.
All-rounders.
And he's the captain of this League of Legends teams that just made playoffs. So he's all over the place here. So he was really on the fence. But he brought back a lot of the players from the squad called Wood Division Warriors. If you remember League of Legends Season 2, there was quite a few players actually brought back from that roster, which I think is amazing. Like these players are still around playing League of Legends, still kicking butt like they always did. And yeah, they got 2nd back in that season, and now they're looking to run it back possibly for the title after all this time, but under a new banner of Corona Spaceship. So yeah, it is a very exciting team to watch.
Pretty cool.
And yeah, just these players that over the years, you know, I've played first personally, and just to watch them evolve, and they've switched around their roles over the seasons, but you know, they're still the same person, and like it's still the same person I remember when we chat. So yeah,
very humbling experience for you, Liam, over this years, being like the best, but also seeing these upcoming, you know, because you have. I'm not, you know, blowing smoke here. You are pretty good, and a lot of guys probably in the season look up to you as someone that's, you know, I want to be as good as that, or I want to beat that person, because you know, that's exactly what we're seeing in other divisions as well, like the fighting games. Like people want to beat the best, and that's what's great about where the NTEL has gotten even as well, with League of Legends especially.
Yeah, agreed.
That's what esports is all about, baby. And yeah, I'm sitting on top for now, but it might not be for long, especially with how competitive I expect these playoffs to be, because the season's kind of like, oh, you know, each game matters to an extent, but these playoffs are like do or die. You know, you can't afford to drop these playoff matches, and that's when I think teams like Corona Spaceship really will turn up. So we'll see what they got in store for us. But maybe we can move on to the 3rd place seed here. I have the captain sitting with me, so maybe he can spill some tactics for us. But yeah, what do you think of your own team, Bill? What do you think of your shot at the title?
Look, we've had quite the season. We started off really strong. our last few weeks towards the end of the season were very shaky, but we've made the adjustments we needed to make, and we're feeling really good, especially after the tiebreaker. When it was a perfect scenario for us, not to blow shade on job seekers, but we wanted Corona Spaceship in that slot to go up against Jewpies too. We feel like if anyone's going to reveal anything into Jewpies, it's going to be Corona Spaceship. So we're super stoked with how all of that's played out. I'm just happy with the team. We've kind of figured out our configuration, and we're feeling good. We're looking good.
Yeah, you certainly did in that tiebreaker scenario. I really was worried. Looking at the recent performances, but you guys got everything together within that week. So within the time you have between this semi-finals, who knows, you might look like a different beast then too. And come grand finals, who knows what we're going to see out of Youngbloods. But first, we got to see what you guys got against Destiny. And
there's a bit of a story there. I mean, I've seen you guys as well evolve and always been come up short in the finals. Even when we had GCon. I remember you guys, there was so much hype, and then Destiny just snatched it away from the last minute. Yeah. It was just, so it's really great to see that that perseverance and the team still strong there. And Destiny, they've had some changes as well. We'll probably talk about Destiny, but Youngbloods definitely, good contenders for the finals. And thank you for making it, because it just shows that, that perseverance is still there. So good stuff.
That's right. That matchup is such an interesting one for us too. I'm not too sure how many people know this. There's a lot of OGs that are still around in the scene, but back in the day, Destiny were our rivals. Bladexa and I used to play on the same team, and they were the team that we couldn't beat. In the first season, we took them to 5 games, but we weren't able to close it out then. And ever since, I've still struggled to get games off them. Liam's had to go his own separate ways. Yeah, and was able to dethrone them the last couple of years too. But this is a big one for us. If we can beat them this year, I can retire from League of Legends. That'll be it. Jango.
That's your life goal complete right there. And I just find it amazing that even after all this time, even after a completely different roster, like you said, I'm no longer with that team at all. And you brought together these brand new players, basically, some of them sticking around from last season, but just a completely brand new version of Youngbloods, younger Bloods, versus the same stock standard Destiny roster, which they've switched up a little bit, but I'm expecting to see most of them back for this grand finals. Prodigium, of course, we'll talk about him in the next thing. There's some spicy stuff, but just this brand new Youngbloods, all these different players coming back, but still ending up in that playoffs versus Destiny, just like old times.
It's happening again, yeah. So guys, very hype. Make sure you tune in to those semis and the grand final. We're putting some big production into the grand finals especially, but we're going to see that with the semis as well. So guys, make sure you tune in if you haven't already. Tell your friends, jump on. It's going to be good fun.
Speaking of friends, I know Destiny has a lot of them. So we may as well move on to the discussion about Team Destiny. And this team probably doesn't need any introduction. Most of the guys playing in NT Esports probably know this name by now if you've been dabbling in League of Legends. Of course, 2-time champions. They were the real OGs. They really showed up to the scene first and just took all names there. And all these people that have been playing all this time, they know all these players in Destiny. Those names there have stuck with them this whole time, which I think is amazing that all these players have still, after all this time, stuck together, been so good. Some of them kind of dropped off. Iron Sigma moved on his own ways, but he's still dabbling around a bit. So, this almost OG Destiny roster from, 6 years ago, from Season 1 NT Esports, still here. But what do you think about their chances this season?
Yeah, well, they've had an interesting season. As you said earlier, Prodigium missed quite a couple of games, and it was very noticeable. Ardmona was running through his subs list. He tried a few different people out to try and fill the hole, but it really couldn't be filled. They were dropped a few games that they definitely should have won throughout the season, and as soon as Prodigium came back, they were unstoppable again. But that's, not to go without saying Ardmona hasn't had his great games. Guard and Asuko have been playing crazy too. Like it was the first season, they're about to win championships again. But also have to give a big shout out to their top laner who has, also come in, and I think he, filled Iron Sigma's hole this year and was, has done a good job there too.
Yeah, Jimbo Baggins, of course. He came in out of nowhere. We've never heard this name before, but he's been taking names that have been staple in the scene here. So yeah, making his debut into this unfamiliar territory and doing a really good job on one of the OG rosters. So he's fit really well in with that team there. Like you said, Ardmona has had a journey of his own. He's been changing out the supports, but I think he's really grown as his own player. Now that we've seen in a couple of his last matches when Prodigium came back, he just looks stronger than he did before with him. Now they just like look so strong together because it was a lot of the Prodigium show before, but Ardmona has really like learned to stand on his own 2 feet when you know he was left in that house alone, he was left home alone.
Yeah, that's
he had to deal with the robbers on his own in this bottom lane, and now he's come out stronger than before. So really do want to see what that team can do together. Hopefully we see Prodigium keep playing, but they do have the sub scenario where they can continue to roster out these players. So nothing confirmed with Destiny, and that's kind of scary, you know. You don't even know what to prepare for into this final. So hopefully you do your research to cover all bases, because you know you might prepare for Prodigium, but you know you might get a different beast altogether.
That's it.
So yeah, it's enough talk about Prodigium. I think honestly DST Guard in the mid lane, just one of the best mid laners hands down. I think this tournament he's just been constantly performing like he always has, and yeah, he just shows he's so flexible at all times, and he's just always the pillar that his team needs him to be at all times. I don't think I've seen DST Guard have a horrible game. So I'm jumping on his bandwagon a bit here, but yeah.
No, I'm totally on his bandwagon as well. There's, you know, games where he's just hard carried, you know, when he's playing his like tried and true Cassiopeia. It's just been so strong this season, and even in the last week we saw him, you know, flex over to the tank role playing the Galio, where I think he just had like one of the best games I've seen him play, setting so much CC and doing so much damage on that champion. It was insane. He is definitely another person that can't be slept on. All these members of Destiny just have exactly what it takes to, you know, close out these games and be the carry that they need, even when Prodigium isn't around.
Yeah, and it just really comes down to, do they play well on the day? Like Asuko, he's had a few ups and downs this tournament. Can't forget about him. But yeah, he's been a crucial part of Destiny, and I feel like he's such a great leader too. Every time I've played solo queue with him, he's very vocal and stuff. So it's I think he is a big part as to why when Destiny succeeds, they succeed, and when they fail, they fail, you know. So
and they're still together too, I should say. They've been together for such a long time, and I think Finn definitely brings them together. So shout out from my end to you, man. That's been doing really good, Finn. Seen him grow into a man.
Yeah, he's doing great things, not just on the Rift. But
actually, has he stopped growing?
Oh, who knows? Last time I saw him, I was looking up, and I thought I was doing pretty well for myself. That's too. But
actually, shout out, you know, because we have known each other so long since high school, we've got a couple of years on those guys too. Giants now. Jeez.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that is the whole Destiny roster covered, so we can move on to the number 1 seed.
Your team, the Jewpies.
Jewpies Angels.
Is it Jewpies or Jewpies?
I like calling it Jewpies, but a lot of people call it Jewpies, and I feel like it just rolls off the tongue better. But honestly, it's kind of like my name in particular, Bladexa.
Is that you on the actual logo? Is that meant to be you?
That's James Pudney. That's Pudney himself.
Yeah. I thought it was you.
I'm not sure if we've ever released this publicly, but Jupe is James Edward William Pudney. So that's his full name.
Wow.
That's his full name. So Jupe actually comes from his name. So.
I knew he had some sort of something to do with things, because he's always coming in. He's always like popping his head in, going, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, there you go.
Bladexa's #1 fan, as he's known.
He's changing his name all the time now. I don't want to talk about that, but yeah, it's a stupid name. We weren't really looking for anything cool.
Might even
We're
have
just
the
like
Pudney Award one day or something.
Yeah, the tribute award, I think.
A bunch of friends having fun. So you know, like I think I watched Charlie's Angels recently. So I was just like, oh, you know, like he's our own Charlie. So we can name our team after him.
Oh my god,
so we called out our team. But
that's funny.
Yeah, but let's actually talk about Jewpies. You guys have actually been insane. 2 years in a row. I think you've lost 1 game in the last 2 years.
We lost 2. In the actual final playoffs, we lost 1 to Destiny, and in the season itself, there was that crushing defeat versus Master Yi mid -20.
Right.
And the best way to beat them is to make them join you. So we recruited Challenger for Jade in the mid lane. So let's talk about him.
Nice.
What do you think about our mid laner? Because I've got my own perspective, but I'm sure the outside looks very different.
That guy's insane. I have no idea what that guy is doing or like what goes through his brain. Sometimes I like feel worried for you when I see he's like just locked in Master Year ADC. I'm like, oh no, the boys have to be freaking out. Like, what's going on? But then he just steamrolled the game and like carried so hard as well. So I don't know, man. He's a different breed. That player is something else.
I think he is absolutely insane in the mental state right now, picking all these different champions, and like it's kind of chaotic to try and deal with draft phases but you know, I don't think we've seen his final form yet at all. I think if that player really put the time in, he could easily surpass me and probably be the best in Northern Territory hands down. But he's a bit of a memer.
That's the scary part. He's like a for fun player.
Yeah,
he just he legit just plays for fun, but he's so good. Like, it's terrifying.
So I have my own opinion about him, but yeah, it's pretty scary, but the sad part is I have to deal with the meme part. I don't think I get serious 4J too often. I'm not sure if that'll change coming up to these playoffs. We are mates in real life, but it's not like I have a leash on him and I can tell him what to do. So he's going to be his own breed. He's the X factor of the team, and I think we were against it at the start, but we kind of grown to love it. And we're just like, oh, what are you busting out this week? What are you busting out this week, 4J? And it's like, it brings pretty interesting games.
Absolutely.
The top 4 teams, eh? And Jewpies. Yeah, go on, guys.
I'm going to talk about my favourite player, real Liam Polio. Whenever I'm playing in, against Jewpies, that's all it is. I just care about going into that matchup. He's so fun to play against. And I feel like every time I play against him, I learn something new.
He's such a chill dude, man. Yeah. He's such a chill dude, but in real life. But when he's playing, he's like so aggressive. You're just like... Yeah.
It's so hard, and like he always, he tries to get me with these matchups that maybe I'm not super familiar with, not super popular anymore, and always learning new stuff from him. He's so fun to play against, and I feel like he's really stepped it up this year as well.
Yeah, he's stepped it up. He's really just tried to be like the role that his team needs him to be. Like he's had like identity crisis in the past, but he's really shown up, and he knows his role this season, and a lot of time he goes well and beyond that role. So. Yeah, big step up from him. He's had like his meme performances in the past, but honestly, you can't really point any faults out this season from him. I've definitely had like arguments in the past and stuff because he is so passionate about the game and stuff, and so am I. So like we argue a lot, but that's just like for the better of the team sort of thing. No personal feelings involved.
Oh, but yeah, healthy relationships are always going to have ups and downs, So.
But he is definitely a big reason why the team is where it is. But yeah, I'd got to say that not my favorite player, but there's no shade to him. No shade to him. It's just our team.
He even names himself after you.
Yeah, no, that's probably why he's trying to dox me. But he knew that was coming if he's watching right now. I'm sure like all my teammates knew that was coming, but just because of that. But
so who is?
I just think we just have like so many like crazy players on the team too. So that for me to pick that one out is just too crazy. But I think I'll talk about my favorite player. And then, everyone's going to think I'm on my team's going to start moaning now and be like, I got to pick someone. I think my favorite player is a Dream the Meme. Ooh. And I think, honestly, his talent locked away into the support doesn't really showcase how good he is. Most support mains are really locked into that role. Once they step outside their comfort zone, you really see their cracks as a player. And you see the flaws in their mechanics because, support generally is considered an easy role. Obviously, there's difficult champs in there, but a lot of the time there's no like farming involved. You get to just focus on your champion, blah blah. Just that's the different discussion. But this player is insane. He can play basically everything, and having that player that's that mechanically good into the support role means that he's just going above and beyond and just making your role as an AD carry, as I am the AD carry this season. I can speak from experience. It just makes the lane so much easier playing with that. When I play with other random players in solo queue, it's just a completely different experience. And I'm sure most people in solo queue who's had that support experience or something like that, and they duo queue with their support that they know, it's just like completely different.
I'd love to have a support in bronze.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think he's the best. He's probably one of the most underrated players in the whole scene. So I'm hoping people start to put him up onto, Prodigium's level up there, because it's always the Prodigium is just like the OG support, and he never
set the bar. Yeah.
He never enters that discussion, and I'm kind of confused because he's been just silently delivering, and not even silently. Sometimes he's just hard carrying these games, and he doesn't get put up there in that discussion. So that's why I wanted to throw that name out there. But
and there's just one person I have to talk about quickly too, and it's the most scary part about going into your team. I know we're going up against the Demon King Bladexa too, but have to talk about Alpha Arcadia as well. Whenever we're playing against Jewpies, he's the biggest threat. That's what we worry about so much. We lose majority of our games to some crazy flash fiddlesticks, and suddenly we're all dead. We didn't even see him come out of nowhere. He's another insane player.
Yeah, he has his own champion pool, and he's always stuck by that sort of thing. A lot of these junglers go straight over to like the Diana meta, you know, just hopping on that Lee Sin and stuff. But he realizes like, you know, that's not my style. I'm gonna play my style. And like this Fiddlesticks champions that no one's almost playing ever, he's like really just showing that this champion is just straight up busted, and like people are crazy for overlooking it all the time, and teams are still like letting it through the ban phase, and it's just like you need to know this champion inside and out, because if you don't, it's just unplayable half the time. In the distance this champion can cover over that wall, come around the map with Predator, the way he clears his camps, he's just like insane on that champion. But not only that champion, he's shown that he's not also a one trick, which I think is really important in the competitive scene. If he was just a Fiddlesticks player, then it wouldn't be a big deal and we wouldn't be talking about him, but he can play all these other champions super well too. So he has those iconic picks that he really excels on, but he's also still really flexible, and he's by no means like detriment off of that Fiddlesticks player. So yeah, I think he is a really incredible player. Cool. And just the perfect complement to our team is just having a jungle that's skilled. It's just, we have like the mechanics everywhere else, but just having that really talented jungler too is just like
by the slightest chance that one of your lanes don't get ahead, he'll be there to even it up for sure.
All right, so thanks guys. We've covered the teams, the top four. I was going to ask a question. Obviously there's some teams that didn't make the top four. And some are better than others. We saw that throughout the season. You're going to have that with definitely a lot of teams in the season. We had, nine teams. Yeah, I guess the guys that didn't make it, they might be looking at this and going, some might be looking at it going, all right, I'm going to tune in because I'm going to learn something, or, that's it, I'm done, or something like that. I don't know everyone's different, right? Yeah. But as a top level, and you guys have had a bit of experience now, what advice would you give these teams that have been maybe not going too well in the season, maybe they want to go in the next season, if they do want to get in, what advice would you have for them?
Do you want to start off with the young bloods side of things?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we've mentioned today, Liam and I have been playing since season 1, and, I'm not the greatest player by a long shot. And like Liam mentioned before, we were able to, make finals again in like a solid position without even like the best players in the world. My guys will maybe not enjoy me saying that either, but we're not the greatest players, and we all know that, but we still managed to pull out these wins, and it's just from playing as a team. If you just keep playing, committing to these tournaments, you will just learn so much. I feel like I've learned so much, even just like about leadership and being able to just, keep the team under balance, stop the tilt, and even the small things like the objectives and even micro. It all just comes from playing the game. You've just got to keep playing, and in these 5v5 environments, it's so wild. And that's where you have to keep practicing. You got to keep the boys playing throughout the off season, and by the time the season comes, you got to be scrimming. You got to be practicing every week. These are the things that will solidify you as a team, make you guys whole.
Good one.
Yeah, I think my biggest advice, and this is from my experience in the past too, that I think team vibe is basically everything, especially coming to these lower skill competitions, but it's even seen at the highest level too. We see teams like Mad Lions, they're all friends, they love playing with each other, they're absolutely inting their faces off, but they're still laughing together, and they're having a great time playing the game. And I feel like team vibe is everything about improvement, because if you're losing games and you're incredibly tilted, you start to hate your teammates because you made this play and it threw the game, blah blah blah. That is just a terrible attitude to have, and you can't really just like work together to fix things if you have to fix your mindset first and your personal issues. Because at the end of the game, at the end of the day, it's all a game. And I talked about how my top laner and I might have had an argument or two in the past. We literally, after we're just done yelling at each other, we're just like, so what do you do on the weekend? It's just like, we're still friends at the end of it. Like, we don't care at all. Like, this doesn't hurt our egos at all. And I feel like that is an incredibly important thing to have, because, you know, when you're playing these competitions, there's lots of stakes. You know, people, the eyes are all on you. You know, you might enter game and feel like, oh, you know, I look terrible, but I can save face by like blaming someone else. It's just not the right way to approach things. But when you have a good vibe, it just makes everything so much easier, because practice comes easy because you enjoy playing with each other. You want to make time to play with your team. You want to set up those competitive scrims. Even if you're lost, you know, you feel like you're learning so much. And yeah, it's just a really fun experience. And I feel like fun is what brought us all to League of Legends. Like, it was really fun at first, but we might get caught up in the grind of solo queue, caught up in the grind of, you know, just like filling time, just trying to have fun, and then having that one bad game. But if you can find that environment where you're always having fun, you're always learning, and you're always working together to build towards something, it's really productive.
I think a lot of people miss that when they look at esports as well. With any team-based esports game, they forget that it is actually still a team, and you still have to work together and be on the same page, if mentally and physically. Like, you need to be technically sound, obviously practicing, putting the practice, but you also have to have that mindset that, you know, try not to get tilted, because, you know, that one little throw off can throw the whole team off. You know, we've seen that with teams like Destiny. One little mistake can like throw you off. Yeah. Or, you know, they may have, I don't know what would have happened behind the scenes. I'm sure things may have been said, but if they let that get to them, it can definitely cost you the game. So I think, yeah, definitely, from seeing the high-level players and the low-level players playing, I think that's something all teams can take away from that. So,
but yeah, I think just to give the advice to the new players is just, you know, just focus on yourself as the most important, in your attitude. I think you can, the skills when playing a game can come later. You know, you can just put in those hours into solo queue. That just takes time, but something that can be fixed right now is just to make sure you're reflecting and you're just like, oh, is my attitude correct towards my team, towards improving, blah, blah, blah. Because if you're kind of locked up in this bubble of like defending your ego, then you can put barriers between you and your teammates, and that can really stop you from getting ahead. And personally, I know of like teams in the past that have had this, even teams this season. I've heard stories, but, you know, I'm sure they've resolved things that, you know, that there were those barriers in place, and it really stopped them from
makes it harder, eh?
Yeah,
make it really hard.
I think, you know, securing that team where, you know, you really trust all 5 players, you know, all 4 of your teammates there, no matter what. I think camaraderie and all that kind of thing. Yeah, I guess that's really strong with you guys, because you guys have been, well, we've been doing this for 4 years now, 4 or 5 years. So you've been able to strengthen that and build that. So you got that as well with these new teams. I mean, just look at Bladexa, look at you know, Jango. These guys are where they're at because they've stuck with it and they've had that, you know. So don't give up. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm trying to say there. Don't give up. If you have lost out this season, maybe you didn't win a game. You know, it's all about learning, and you learn something from that. So, congratulate. And with that said, I want to say thank you to everyone that has participated in the season, because we wouldn't have had an NTEL if we didn't have teams. Yeah. So we wanted to get as many teams as we can. We had an odd number, 9, but 4 came through, and we're ready for the semis. So it's great.
That's it. Yeah. Big weekend ahead of us.
Yeah. So guys, we'll put out another post just to give you those, you know, the brackets and the timings of all that. That will come out separately. But again, if you just want to repeat it for the guys listening to this podcast, we can say those times. So we got this Thursday and Saturday. Yep. Yeah,
that's right. Now, regular time slots. So it's going to be the 16th, this Thursday. We're going to have 1 versus 4.
Yep.
And then on Saturday, now regular time slot, which is 3 o'clock, we're going to have 2 versus 3, which is going to be big. And after this, we're going to take a week off and let everyone get ready for finals after those teams. And we're actually going to have the grand final on Saturday, the 2nd of October as well.
Yeah, so I think that's going to follow. The Rocket League is going to do theirs first, and then we're going to hype up, more League of Legends. And guys, so we got, obviously other games as well, but, you know, focus on League of Legends now. League of Legends, our biggest game in NTEL. So make sure you tune in. It's going to be hype. There's going to be chat going crazy. I'm going to get some prizes. And speaking of prizes, guys, I know the spin wheel prizes, I've still got record of those. I'll be getting in touch with those to collect their prize. So I still have those on record, and I believe Bladexa is still sorting something out with the all the MVPs and SVPs. So if you are worried that you haven't got your prize yet, don't worry. We do have your details, and we will get in contact with you, okay? We do have to focus on getting the times out and all this promotion so people know about this NTEL season, which has so much riding on it now. We got so much hype, yeah.
Yeah, no, we get bigger and better things. You guys see the production value going into this now. It's only going to get better. This is just the beginning. So
yeah, we got a studio now. So this is, and it's still in its infancy. The studio here, you're actually watching and listening. I mean, the audio quality is pretty. Hopefully, you guys can hear that. It's really good, and can't wait to have a really cool setup for the guys coming in. Shoutcasters, if you're listening, this studio is going to be ready for you. You're going to come in and you'll be able to put on a really great show for the best esport competitors in the Northern Territory. Hands down, these guys are the best in the Northern Territory. And with that said as well, I do have another question. So if you do win, we'll start with you, Bladexa. So if your team wins again for the second time in a row, what is your, where to from here? Are you just going to keep doing NTELs, or do you want to look to possibly reaching out? Do you want me to see if I can get Riot Games or something to give you guys contract?
Oh yeah, just get us all on TSM. We're ready for Worlds, baby. But in all seriousness, just the local scene has brought us to where we are right now. But if we do take this and we continue to go undefeated, we don't want to be those guys stomping down onto the players that are trying to rise up. They're trying to build their careers too. It'd really suck for LeBron to keep playing in high school, dunking on people. He's got to move on to bigger and better things, and that might be what we do. Obviously, we lead our own lives. In Australian esports is a whole different beast. OPL is a different beast. It's completely way out of our league right now.
You'll be exploring some options for sure. And I think
we're friends. We'll be playing together at the end of the day, and we might not be in future seasons, but you'll see us playing together as a team all the time. We're friends. Like I said, we have that environment. So Jewpies might not be in Northern Territory esports anymore, but we'll be playing either just in your random flex queue, in your Clash games, or maybe OPL. But that's a long way off. I'm not gonna let that one go on record.
And you might even see Liam more of a mentor or like a teaching role maybe one day soon. You never know. You might be able to be teaching you young kids out there how to play League one day. We never know. I don't know. I'm not disclosing anything. I'm just saying you might. Liam showed some really great leadership this season. So hats off to you, man. Well done. And Billy as well. So Billy, what would you say if you manage to pull off this victory? What's next for Young Bloods?
Man, it's a crazy thing to think about, to be honest. I go back in 6 years, 7 years, we've been doing this now, and we've been close and never gotten it. But if we were to get it this time, I think, if the boys are keen, we'll just keep it going. I feel like, as I said earlier, they might not see it that way, but I kind of feel like Destiny are my rivals at least. They're who I want to beat, and if they have 2 championships, I probably need 3 to actually. So I don't know. That's kind of where I'm looking at.
Yeah, no, great answers, guys. That's awesome, and it just shows that this season is legit, guys. We've the longest running season we've done with first NT Esports, then Next Tier Esports, and now Next Tier and Gaming Esports. So we've had an evolution, I guess all we really have to say now is a big shout out to our sponsors, I guess. So our sponsors that have been on board this year, we haven't been able to do this season without you. So a big shout out to, I'll go from top to bottom because that's what's on the screen there, but Northern Territory Government, first time ever being involved with us, and NT Youth, I should say, because it is the youth division, getting on board with us and just helping us out there. It's a great way to get the Northern Territory fully involved in this. Paul's Iced Coffee, celebrating 60 years. Thank you, Paul's. I'm set to collect some more very soon. I keep saying that, but I've been a bit held back by the COVID lockdown that we had. So I'm going to have, especially for finals, I'll be giving the casters some Paul's Iced Coffee to drink on the day, and some other stuff. Macca's Darwin, so McDonald's Darwin Group, they are the majority of the McDonald's around Darwin and Palmerston. I do have some cheeseburgers, a bunch of cheeseburgers to give away. They're actually over there. You guys can I'll show you.
Oh, you guys might not
Big
get
pile
them.
of cheeseburger.
Suddenly I have to leave.
And of course, all our minor sponsors as well listed there. I won't go. I'll go through them. Yeah. So Next Tier Entertainment. That's my sister company. That's I do my esports. I do my karaoke and open mic nights through that. So that's doing really well over on the side there. Serotonik Beauty. So we got these Nove men's skincare. Shout out to those guys. Giving us some skincare packs to give away, and I do got to give one to you guys too tonight. You will get one.
Let's go.
And VR Gamers, they hosted the Game Jam last week, and I got to say that was awesome. We had 20 people participate in that through last minute pivot interest. 3 winners, so they're going to be all awarded at the league-wide awards, which we will announce soon. Anyway, just quickly go through the rest from here. Gammon Creations, Tracy Village, Howard Springs Tavern, John John's, Diamond Barbers, District North Kitchen, Wicked Energy, Joyce Main Darwin, Next Level Gym, and Bell Accounting, Pallets of India, and Fresh Point Cafe, and the Rabbit Hole. Jeez, I got so many. But guys, thank you for our local supporting sponsors. Make sure you go visit them, support local. That's what it's all about. Makes the economy tick and all that by supporting those guys. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. Are there any final thoughts? You want to close things out by saying something?
Go ahead, Billy.
Yeah, just to reiterate one more time, we're having our 1 vs 4th match, which is Jewpies Angels versus Corona Spaceship this Thursday, the 16th of September. And then on the 18th, we're doing 2 vs 3, which is going to be Destiny versus Youngbloods. And then we're going to take a week break. And on the 2nd of October, we're going to have our
big one coming up on that. So, guys, yeah, like we said, I know that's information just spoken, but we're going to get it all out on Facebook. So make sure you share those posts, like those posts, and get some hype around it, guys. Put in hashtag who you think's going to win, hashtag Jewpies, hashtag Youngbloods. Show your support for the local guys. It's going to be hype. So... just want to thank Bladexa and Jango for joining me today in this Next Tier Studios.
Thank you very much.
And we will, we'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for tuning in.